In the land of Umoja, where golden grass danced with the wind and wide rivers shone like glass, the people lived in peace, or so everyone believed. The men of Umoja were tall and proud. They went out each morning with bows, spears, and laughter that echoed across the hills. They hunted, built houses, and sat beneath the big baobab tree to make decisions for the village. The women, graceful and strong, worked from sunrise to sunset. They fetched water from the faraway river, cooked the meals, tended to the children, and sold fruits in the market. But deep inside, many women felt invisible. Whenever they tried to share ideas at village meetings, the men would wave their hands and say, leave such matters to us. The men go and prepare food. It hurt their hearts. In the evenings, the women gathered by the river to wash clothes. Their laughter often hid the pain of being unheard. One day, Nala, one of the youngest women, spoke boldly. If only men could feel what it's like to be ignored, maybe they would understand our hearts. The other women nodded sadly. Little did they know that their wish was about to come true. One golden afternoon, as the women scrubbed clothes by the river, they heard a rustling sound from a nearby forest. Out stepped an old woman dressed in a robe of many colors. Her hair was silver like moonlight, and she carried a staff carved with strange symbols. The women froze. "Don't be afraid," she said softly. "I am Mama Chigwi, the traveler of forgotten paths." Her eyes sparkled like the river surface. She looked at the women and said, "Your hearts are heavy. You serve with love but are treated without honor." The women bowed their heads. "Yes, Mama," said Nala. "We only wish to be heard, not ruled." Mama Chigwi reached into her leather bag and brought out a small clay bottle, smooth, round, and sealed with red wax. "This," she whispered, "is the bottle of balance. Inside lies an ancient secret. With it, you can make those who ignore you finally listen." The women's eyes widened in amazement. "But listen to me well," Mama Chigwi warned. "Power without wisdom is like fire in dry grass. It burns everything, even the one who lit it." The women nodded, though excitement filled their hearts. Mama Chigwi taught them the spell. "By the moon and the wind, let peace begin within." Then she vanished into the forest mist, leaving behind the sound of drums in the distance. That night, under a full moon that glowed like a giant lantern in the sky, the women gathered quietly. Each woman brought a bottle, like the one Mama Chigwi had shown. They filled them with river water and whispered the magic words together. "By the moon and the wind, let peace begin within." Suddenly, the bottles shimmered with light. The air grew still. The river stopped flowing for a heartbeat, and even the frogs went silent. When their husbands returned home from hunting, the women tried to speak kindly, but some men laughed again. "You women worry too much. Leave such matters to us." This time, the women pointed their bottles toward them and whispered the words once more. To their amazement and fear, the men shrunk smaller and smaller until they disappeared into the bottles. Each bottle now glowed softly, with faint little voices inside shouting, "Let us out! What have you done?" The women were shocked at first, but then, slowly, smiles crept onto their faces. "Now they will learn to listen," Nala said. And so, they placed the bottles neatly on their shelves and went to sleep peacefully for the first time in years. The next morning, Umoja was a very different place. There were no men arguing under the baobab tree, no loud voices giving orders. Only the sound of birds, children's laughter, and women singing as they worked together. At first, it was wonderful. The women shared responsibilities fairly, treated each other kindly, and helped one another. They managed the farms, traded in the market, and told stories around the fire. For the first time, Umoja truly felt united. But as days turned into weeks, problems began. The fields were hard to plow, and the goats wandered away. The wells needed repair, and the nights felt strangely empty without the deep laughter of the men. Some women started to argue. Others grew tired. At night, they could hear the faint voices from the bottles whispering, "You cannot live without balance. You need us just as we need you." Nala couldn't sleep. The words echoed in her heart. Then came a terrible drought. The river dried up. Crops wilted and food became scarce. The women tried their best, but without the men to help dig new wells or carry heavy loads, the struggle grew unbearable. Children began to fall sick. The laughter of Umoja faded into silence. One evening, Nala gathered the women and said, "We have learned the truth. We wanted respect, not control. Let us ask Mama Chigwi to help us restore balance." The women walked to the dry riverbed, carrying their bottles close to their hearts. They called out 3 times, "Mama Chigwi, Mother of Wisdom, come to us." The wind began to howl. The earth trembled. Then, out of a swirl of dust, Mama Chigwi appeared, her staff glowing faintly. Her eyes were sad but kind. "So, daughters of Umoja," she said, "did you find the peace you sought?" The women knelt and answered, "No, Mama, we found loneliness. We thought power would bring respect, but it only brought silence. Please forgive us." Mama Chigwi smiled softly and raised her staff toward the sky. The moonlight turned golden, washing over the bottles. "You have learned wisdom," she said. "Power is not for ruling, it is for building." She instructed them to open each bottle and pour the water beneath the moonlight, whispering the same spell backward. "Within begins peace and the wind to the moon." One by one, the men reappeared dizzy but unharmed. They looked around in confusion. Nala stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "We only wanted to be heard. We went too far. Can you forgive us?" The men listened silently. They saw the tired faces of their wives and the empty fields around them. Slowly, one of the elders spoke. "We, too, were wrong. A home cannot stand on one voice alone." From that night onward, Umoja became a true village of balance. Decisions were made together, and every voice, man or woman, mattered. Children learned that respect is the true root of strength. And Mama Chigwi? She disappeared into the night once again, leaving behind the sound of a gentle drumbeat, as if the forest itself was whispering, "Remember the lesson of the bottles.